Back again today, another pretty awesome tutorial. Today we're going to be giving you a little breakdown tutorial of J-Rock Wow Freestyle featuring Kendrick Lamar, and mainly we're going to be focusing on this effect right here, this kind of awesome slow motion effect where we have this side-by-side performance scene. And like I said, that's the main thing we're going to be focusing on. We also have some really cool shots here shot on actual VHS cameras. If you guys are looking for any VHS overlays or any of this kind of scratchiness that they have going on here, you can check out my website, link down below. We have a bunch of free awesome resources for you guys to use, as well as we just dropped a brand new transition pack, the Speed Demon transition pack. If you guys would be interested in getting that, link down to all those is in the description. Anyways, let's go in and start breaking this down. So let's go and skip to the part where we're talking about beforehand. I actually want to mention this is directed by begert. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, but he's an awesome director. He's directed a lot of things that you guys are probably familiar with in the past. Here's his website. I'll also link this below. He did the Amine reeled in video, which I really like a lot, and he's done a bunch of other really awesome stuff. And let's go ahead and skip to the part that everyone has been asking for. And the reason why I really like this and the reason why I really wanted to make this tutorial is this is something that's actually very simple in nature, something that's simple to actually pull off. The application of it is very creative, and you can make some really cool stuff if you just apply your creativity to simple things that you know. Just a little breakdown of this from what I'm seeing so far. We have this performance scene shot on, I'm guessing, a motion control crane, which is really going to help pull this effect off and get this really awesome overlooking shot, which is actually very good for the effect that we're trying to pull off. And we'll talk a little bit about that more. But in terms of the effect itself, let's just play this out. You guys will see when one of them is performing, we have this nice slow motion going on here. I also love that dance that Kendrick Lamar is doing. Just had to throw it in there. And if I go frame by frame and just pay attention to the parts kind of near his shoes, you can kind of tell that there's a mask. As you see right here, you can just see a little bit of pixels kind of getting a little bit stray. The real key to pulling this off is just getting a nice clean mask, and location is super important. Also, the fact that they're doing this motion control crane that I was talking about, let me just show you a little visual so you guys get a better idea of what I'm talking about. As you can see, they can record the movement. It can go up, down, I'm guessing for that shot, and that way everything's smooth. Especially right here, you can really tell his shoes kind of erased a tiny bit. Because of the location, we have this nice blank colored road to go off of and use for the mask. This really works well, and that overhang angle works well. Enough talking about this. Let's hop into Premiere and let me show you how to do this. So I went out and I tried to get some similar footage of how we can pull this off. Obviously, I don't have this big motion control crane to be able to get this performance scene. I kind of just did it run and gun. If you want to make your life a million times easier, you could shoot this on a tripod and do this like it's nothing. So let's go ahead and start from scratch. I'm just gonna pull in this clip, and another huge part of this is if you really want that crisp slow motion, I recommend shooting this at a high frame rate. I shot this on a Sony a6300 Sigma 18-35 f1.8 lens. There's that the Sony can shoot 120 frames per second, which is what we need to get that nice crisp slow motion. If your camera shoots at least 60, you're still gonna get really nice results. If you have footage that you shot that's below that frame rate, but you still wanna do this effect, I'm gonna link a video I made how to get the best slow motion effect without high frame rate. Link down to that below. And you can see it's pretty shaky. I shot this handheld, I was bumping around a lot. So what I'm gonna do, and this is a pretty useful tip if you're not doing it on a tripod, is I'm gonna go over to my effects and presets library over here on the left, and I'm just gonna look up a simple little warp stabilizer effect. And that's just going to smooth things out and make this a lot better. So let's go ahead and first actually right click, nest that clip, then go ahead, drag that warp stabilizer on there, and then click there, go to your effect controls. You can see how fast that's going to process for you. All right, and let's go ahead and play that out. You can actually click this and go to sequence render selection if you would like to. And you guys are going to see it looks a lot better, more stabilized. So I recommend you either shoot it on a tripod, shoot it on the best stabilizer you have, or use this method with the warp stabilizer to really try and fix that handheld motion. Now, the only trick if you are doing it handheld and you need to throw that warp stabilizer on there, you can't use warp stabilizer and then go to speed duration and change things around. As you're gonna see, it's gonna say warp stabilizer and speed can't be used on the same clip. So if you do need to use warp stabilizer in your clip to fix up any shakiness, which I do recommend you do, I recommend you just Control C to copy that. You just put that in a new sequence so you can keep track of it just like this. Control V to paste, and then you just render that out and make that its own clip with the warp stabilizer. So I'm just gonna go to File, Export, Media. You can go ahead and export it at 24 frames per second. Or what you can do is match and have it 120 frames per second, whatever works. And keep in mind, you only need to do this if you're doing the handheld. I wanna show you how to do it the hardest way. If you're doing it on a tripod, doing it on a stabilizer, it's gonna be easy. Once you have your smoothed out clip, here's how we actually create the slow motion effect itself. We're gonna hold down Alt, and we're just gonna drag up on our clip. So now we've created a duplication clip right on top of our original. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set up a little crop effect. So I'm gonna go go over to my effects and presets again, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop a crop on there. I'm gonna go up to my effect controls in the top left, scroll down until you see crop, grab this little pen tool for the crop, and then just draw along the path that you want to make slow motion, just like this. I'm gonna go over to my effects, click inverted, make left 100%. So essentially what I just did, if I hide this bottom layer, is I masked out everything that wasn't in that little mask that I just drew. So everything outside of what I just drew just got cut out. So now we have our layer, which is just like this, and then we just have our normal. So let's go ahead and make this slow motion. I'm gonna right click on that. I'm gonna go to speed duration. If you want that super smooth slow motion, what I recommend you do is bring it below 50. I like to make it 20 because like I said, I'm shooting at 120 frames per second, so I can get some really nice slow motion. If you want, you can make it 30, 40%, 50%, whatever you're comfortable making. For the super smooth, I shot at 120. I'm gonna make it 20% speed. I'm gonna make time interpolation optical flow, and that's just gonna smooth things out. Now, like I said, if you did use warp stabilizer on the clip, that's why I told you to export earlier, so you don't get this error. So let me go ahead and drag in that exported clip that has the warp stabilizer already rendered out so that we don't have to worry about mixing and matching those effects. Let me just go ahead and right click and just copy and paste the crop effect onto that clip. So we have no warp stabilizer on here. It's already rendered with it on, and we now have our crop. Bring back our bottom, so we just have it normal. Right click on your top clip, go to speed duration. I'm gonna make that 20. Optical flow, okay. Now here's where we really need to patch up that mask to make sure that there isn't anything going on. So this is what it looks like rendered, as you can see. Let's go ahead and check that out full screen. And there's one thing, like I said, since it's handheld, this is kind of shifting up a little bit. Now that's not something you have to worry about. If there isn't any lines, like for example, going back to the location, this is really perfect because there's nothing that can really throw off the viewer's eye, like some sort of pattern on the line that's shifting away. So if you do need to worry about that, first thing you want to do is go to your effect controls, open up your crop. You're going to want to bump up that mask feather, and that's going to blend the mask a lot better. So if we hide this, you can see the mask feather is really blending that edge just like that. Let's bump that up a bit, and then let's bring this back. So we'll play that out, and it's looking a lot better, as you guys can see. Normal motion on the right, slow motion on the left. We're not getting a lot of distortion. There is a bit, as you can see, these lines are just kind of fading up. Like I said, the location can fix that easily, but I'm just going to show you, in case you do have to worry about this issue, how you can fix it. So because we're shifting up a little bit, I'm just going to make a little motion keyframe. So go up to your effect controls, click these little stopwatches for position and scale. Let's drag a bit, click the squiggly key on your keyboard just to make that full screen, and we're gonna go ahead and patch that. So to move this, you can either just change these values, or you can click this box, go back to full screen again, and then just drag and try and realign that best as you can, kind of like that. So now we made a keyframe that just kind of helps that stick into place and not really roll away. Drag to the very end, and then let's go ahead and full screen again. Drag that down just a tiny bit just to line those lines up, just like that. And of course, if you're smart about your location, how you shoot it, keeping it stable, those aren't any issues you're gonna have to worry about. All you're gonna have to do is duplicate it, crop it at that slow motion, and there you go. If you do run into these issues, because I'm guessing a lot of you are low budget, hopefully that does help you. Like I said, you don't have to have the most expensive camera, you don't have to have a huge budget. That's why I recommend you guys watch editing tutorials, polish up on your editing, because this is the stuff that can really save you if you're first learning how to use a camera. If you get your editing down, you can fix up those kind of rough edges around your camera, but at the end of the day, you want to become well-rounded, polish everything so that you won't have to worry about this in post. And when you are working on big deadlines, you don't have to worry about issues like that. So let's go ahead and play that. As you can see, looking pretty cool. I love these Kendrick videos that have these really simple applications used in an awesome creative way. Hope that was a big lesson, you guys. You guys don't need the most flashy thing. If you can use your creativity, use these simple tools that you guys have in your arsenal, you can make some really cool stuff. Hope you guys enjoy this. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you did. Like I said, all the links down in the description. Free resources, a bunch of awesome, cool presets for Premiere and After Effects on my website, which is also in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting, and I'll see you guys later.